Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us once again on the State of Freedom.
The State of Freedom is a listener-supported podcast. We're committed to pursuing the truth about policymaking, decisions, and situations in Louisiana and at the national level that stand to impact our freedoms.
Please become a monthly supporter of the State of Freedom at freedomstate.us as we continue to expand the voice of liberty across Louisiana and beyond.
Hey, Danielle Walker here. I'd love for you to check out my online boutique, Lux Lion. My mission for Lux Lion is to showcase innovative African designers and sustainable mission-driven brands. To do that, I bring you stunningly beautiful handcrafted jewelry and accessories from some of my absolute favorite places on earth. Small batch wholesale for storefronts is also available. Join me in celebrating African artistry and shop now at luxlion.us. Use promo code FREEDOM for an additional 10% off your purchase. Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to the State of Freedom, where we are grounded in faith and the Constitution, and we are committed to giving voice to the truth, living with courage, and taking action. It is Thursday, October 23rd. It's 10 a.m. Central. I'm Danielle Walker, and I'm joined by my good friend, my co-host, and fellow warrior for truth, Chris Alexander. We are coming to you live on Voice of the People USA TV and radio network on Rumble, X, YouTube, and Facebook. If you're catching us later, you can listen to us on any podcast platform that you like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Well, we have a heck of a treat for you folks today. Hold on to your hats. Joining us today, and let me bring them forward. I couldn't be more excited. There we go.
Me either.
Joining us today is a man who is very accustomed to a fight. Theodis Daniel is a veteran, a proud Texan, a pastor, and a family man. He's running to fill the vacant seat left by the illustrious Sheila Jackson Lee in Harris County, Texas. That's the Houston area. And he's best known as the father of America's hardest working and most decorated law enforcement officer, DJ Daniel. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. We are so thrilled to have you. And today we're going to talk about Theodis's race and the dirty games being played by the Harris County GOP and whatever else comes up. So welcome to the show, gentlemen. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Well, before we get into it, let me read the scripture of the day. It's Matthew chapter 4, verses 16 to 17. And I had it pulled up earlier, but now I'm going to have to look for it again. Let's see. Okay. It's a good one. It says, okay. Did I have that right? Not 14, chapter 4. I was like, that doesn't look right at all. All right. Thanks for bearing with me, folks. It says, "You who spend your days shrouded in darkness can now say, 'We have seen a brilliant light.' And those who live in the dark shadow land of death can now say, 'The dawning light rises on us.'" From that time on, Jesus began to proclaim his message with these words: "Keep turning away from your sins and come back to God, for heaven's kingdom realm is now accessible." And the message of Jesus rings just as true today as it did when he walked on the earth. He is our brilliant light that shines through the darkness. He's the one that takes us from the darkness of our souls into his glorious light. He came to give us access to his kingdom through the offering of his life in our place. Through his death, burial, and resurrection, his victory over sin, sickness, and disease, we don't have to live in the darkness any longer, and we don't have to live in the darkness of separation from God and the separation from vibrant spiritual life any longer. He is the light who's broken through our darkness, and all we have to do is walk toward him to be in that light.
And we can also rest assured that he'll be walking toward us.
That's right.
The hound of heaven. He will more than meet us halfway. And that's always important to remember. While we're walking toward him, he's walking toward us.
That's right.
And speaking of someone who I think is two people who I think are walking toward heaven, living righteously, are our two guests today here, Theodis Daniel and his great son, DJ, who was honored, I know you recall, Danielle, at the State of the Union that President Trump did.
Amazing.
It's amazing to have you both here. Let me start here, Theodis. As Danielle said, you're running for the U.S. Congress in the 18th district in Texas, the seat that's being vacated by Sheila Jackson Lee, the Democrat there. What prompted you to get into this race?
Well, I got into this race because it's a personal mission of mine. It's not about money. It's personal, and this is because everybody has a lot of people that was elected in the position taking responsibility to look out for the best interest for everyone and represent them. They didn't do that because see, DJ's cancer here came from the environment. And there were
Mm,
people who were elected in place that allowed chemical plants and the paper mills to bury a chemical in hundreds of stainless steel barrels in the Channelview area. And Hurricane Harvey that disrupted the bedrock, and all these barrels came on their banks, and everybody's asking what are these, these barrels leaking this chemical out of it is.
wow.
And the mayor and everybody else got on TV and wouldn't look in the camera and said, well, yeah, the paper mills and the chemical plants, well, they paid us to bury it in the bedrock. And so, I mean, this has been going on, and because I know that day when Hurricane Harvey hit, and we were all in, dealing with the water and everything else. Um, if your immune system was compromised just by a fraction, you were most likely going to get sick, and get cancer from the chemical, and
Wow.
it happened. He had 5 months to live. He's been fighting for his life for over 6.5 years, and for a kid just starting out in his life, that's a hard way to start.
No kidding.
So,
A
as a
hero.
father and as a prayer for man and a believer, I just can't sit back and let people with these evil intentions in their hearts to sit here and profit off of people's pain. So I'm very upset. I'm very upset. I know we can do better. Um, and it takes common sense to do that, but you have to go through things to learn how to fix things. And I just so happen to be a huckleberry. I've been through a lot, and God don't call on his weakest people to sit there and take the helm. And I just like I said, I mean they need a fighter right now. They need somebody that's got common sense, that's not worried about money to get things done. And now I have to teach people history because this country, a great country of ours, was not founded by career politicians. They were just like you and I having conversations, and we said we're going to do something about it. And this is how it started.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And DJ, how you feeling? You looking pretty strong, man.
I'm feeling pretty great, but I wouldn't be alive if my dad never signed me up for medicine, and I'm gonna study for the medicine because I'm saving a whole bunch of lives. And if my dad would have never signed me up for this medicine, I would have never been here. My dad's been helping me out, so I'm gonna do a good thing and help him out and win this race because I know he can do it.
I know we can do it. Amazing.
What a wingman, Theodis. What a wingman you have.
I know it. See, he's on my opposite side. He's usually on my right side because I used to be on the opposite side. Now he took this side to help me out. See how this
There you
works?
go.
Yeah, that's exactly how it works. Now, Theodis, I reached out to you because I saw how vocal you'd been on X about the Harris County GOP boxing you out of official engagements, playing these dirty tricks. What are they doing? What does that whole situation look like? Because we see a lot of that nonsense here in Louisiana too.
Well, see, the thing is for the Harris County GOP, they have bylaws. They have to follow them, and the head of the GOP there is and their staff is supposed to help all the candidates out, whether it be helping them try to figure out how they could do fundraisers, to have all the necessary resources to run a successful campaign without being biased.
This is the
Well, that's
Republicans.
not what's
Theodis, you're
happening.
talking about the
Yes,
Republicans.
yes, Republican GOP,
There's two
and
Republicans in this.
it's a total of three of us, I believe.
Three
Yeah, three.
Republicans.
I don't. I can't. Well, I don't know. One of them, I don't think he's. I think it's going to do a flip anyway because the endorsements is different.
Yeah, but they're
That's
supposed to
it.
be treating the local party is supposed to be treating all of y'all the same way.
Exactly. But it doesn't help when you're asking me to not to run. I couldn't believe it. And they asked me not to run, and I was like, "Why would I not run?" So I was like, "Oh, okay." I play chess. I don't play checkers. But then I made a couple phone calls, and they said to me, "Well, why? Why are they going to ask you to run? You got all the international media. It doesn't make any sense to me. You got more media time with your son and yourself." And no, hell no, you run. I said, "Okay." So I ran. Now I haven't been to any debates. These people are running from me. They had initial polls done with the University of Houston and all the other stuff, and And when you look at the actual first one that they put out, my name wasn't on none of the polls. And so when the initial poll came out, they said I only had one vote. I said, you got to be kidding me. I said, you know what? They sit here and pre-program this stuff to where they want to keep the narrative running. And so I said, well, when I ran for mayor of Houston, I said nobody know me, and I pulled in votes like it wasn't nobody. Like they couldn't believe it. And so they can rig all they want to. They can put out lies all they want to. It's fine. But you can't stop God's work. You know, whatever God's got for you, He's already written it. He's the author, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
And
That's
we're
right.
just putting our role.
That's right.
And so
Theodis, what
I
is the
just
posture? What is the posture of the local Republican Party right now? Of the three Republicans who are in this, is the local Harris County Republican Party favoring one of the Republicans?
well, they're not supposed to unless it was a primary. This is a special election, and one of them is real good friends with the GOP. You know, the head of GOP there, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem. I mean, and then when you get endorsed by, if you're a Republican, you get endorsed by two staunch Democratic organizations and getting awards, and all of a sudden you starting to be now you can go to debates with them and putting your signs up there without getting ripped off. That's a concern. I mean, if you're going to be a Democrat, be that. Don't come in and saying that you're a Republican and then going to go in there and get the votes and maybe get it and then flip and say, you know what? The joke's on you. I was always a Democrat. That should be illegal.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. That should be really illegal, and you should not be allowed to do that because that's what you call lying to folks. You know, that's called some. It falls under deceptive. People
Yeah.
being deceptive. And that's not right.
So one of your Republican opponents in this
Chris, would you
open.
get a little closer to the mic? Your
Sure.
voice is a little quiet.
Sorry. So one of your Republican opponents here of the other two, one of them was a Democrat until very recently.
No, and they're running as a Republican, but now all of a sudden, you know, all the Democrats are endorsing it.
Mm.
That's a concern.
Well,
Even
that's a
President Trump.
huge red flag. That's a huge red
It is.
flag.
It is. It's a very big red flag. And then asking me not to run, me of all people, why would you do that? That's stupid. You know, we need to go back to grassroots to fix this problem. The problem is when you have people that sitting there so feel like they're so entitled to the position.
That's right.
District 18 has been Democratic since 1973. 19 says over 50 years.
Wow.
I'm sorry, but nothing stays forever. You don't believe me?
Mm-mm.
I tell people all the time, get on your knees and pray to God and ask him how long you're gonna be here. He gonna say, not forever.
Yeah.
Nothing stays the same.
There you go.
Nothing stays the
Theodis,
same.
how would you compare? I'm just trying to get down to as one of our guests says, down to the lick log here.
Mhm.
The other two Republicans in this, are they conservative, or are they more institutional Republicans? In other words, from a purely ideological point of view, for what the
Mhm.
Republican Party has traditionally stood for, I've looked at your platform. You seem to embrace core traditional Republican values. You're not afraid to stand up for those values. And no doubt, if you're elected to the Congress, you would go in and be a very strong ally to President Trump. So, is there any ideological reason why a local Republican Party would not be 100% behind you?
I mean, well, because first of all, the Harris County GOP is run like a social club. I'm not a part of the club, and I'm an outsider coming in. So whatever that they had in place before I came along, I'm disrupting everything. In other words, I'm messing the church's money up, and it's a problem. So they don't want me in there. They already call me an outsider candidate and all that. I said, yeah, you're right. I am an outsider candidate
Well,
because
well, you
I
have
don't do
something in
nothing.
common with that's probably one of the many things you have in common with President Trump.
Oh yeah, I know that. I know, and I'm prepared for everything that comes. I told them, I said, before y'all can buy me, like they offered me $750,000 for me to just get out of the way, and I wouldn't take it. And I called the news right away and
Wow.
made that known. And I would rather die on the hill before that happens.
Yeah.
I can't. I got to live with myself. I can't have. We've got a lot of disappointments in this world. A lot of people don't understand how life works and things of that nature. A lot of confusion going on, but I don't want to add to that problem. You know, I want to be able to go to God at the end of life and know that I've done things that I'm the right way. Some of these folks just don't believe that. And I, like I say, I stay in the hood. Okay, a lot of people think I stay in some suburban area or something. No, I stay in the when I mean the hood, it's called South Park. I stay there. Gunshots. I think last night it might have been on news. You heard about two women were out there fighting in the street and they got ran over.
Oh my
And now
gosh.
they're looking for the car. Kids getting shot, elderly getting robbed. I mean, you name it. Even my own son got shot, and he's 15 now. But the fact of the matter, he's shot.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, so we just need a grassroots folks to be in these races from now
Yeah.
on.
Well, it's
You know,
clear to me why they don't want to debate you, Theodis, because you will call out the actual issues that people are facing in their real lives. I mean, we're seeing, I mean, what you're describing is a lot of the stuff that seems to be getting cleared up in places like DC and other places that President Trump has been sending in the National Guard. I think Chicago. And I think that they have to kind of what do you call it whenever they they don't break ranks, they kind of surround their own candidate, protect what's theirs, what they perceive to be theirs, because if someone comes in and shows the people that there's a better way to live, that there's real options, that their money could be used for things that actually benefit the people, then then the game is over. The game is completely over.
Yeah,
wow.
well, I hate to tell them, but they don't have but two, maybe one or two tokens left to play this game. The game's done.
Yeah.
You have to move on. Take the loss, keep moving.
Yeah.
Take the loss and keep on moving, and just sit back and watch the success happen. It's going to happen with their blessing or not, because we've got the best blessing in the world. God's blessing. We got it.
And you're
Yeah.
So
you're probably out there. I'm sure you're out there busy making the rounds. You have a big following on social media, so there's
yeah.
no doubt that people there know who you are. It's just a matter of getting your message to the people. Looking at the demographics of your district, Theodis, it looks like, I mean, there's 31% black, I think 16 or 70% white, and then the rest is Latino or other Latino.
Yep.
Based on your background, everything you've seen, the struggles you've had in your life, it looks like a district where a conservative African American would have a very good chance to win the race.
Oh yeah.
And I think you do have a good chance, but this is a problem that Danielle alluded to earlier. It's not just in Texas. It's amazing how the institutional Republican Party, whether it's local or statewide, very often is more of an impediment to a solid candidate who really is loyal to the people and to the Constitution getting elected. And it's almost like they protect the problem. They protect the institutional politicians that have caused and perpetuate the problems we have.
Yes. Yes. Well, I mean, it's no difference between the criminals. The criminals got more rights than the
That's
victims.
right.
I mean, you get, and one thing, and I don't care I don't care what happens to me or whatever at this point, but I'm going to say what I want to say. And I'm a man. Like I said, I'll die before on the hill before somebody shut me up. I'll shut my own self up. The
Yeah.
DAs, the county attorneys, and the judges are the ones that are creating these problems because they feel like they are untouchable. Those
Yeah.
three together, the DAs refuse to take the charges. They refuse to try these cases. They keep letting these murders out of jail. The judges keep letting murders out of jail. Well, is it fair to the victim? Because the Constitution is black and white. The punishment shall fit the crime. So if you take someone's life and you need to sit there in jail until you clear your name and then let everything else play out. If you do successfully clear your name, then I'm sure that you'll get compensated for it. I mean, they'll do it. But you don't need to be at home playing video games, eating potato chips with cookies on the side with some bonbons while you got the victim laying in the freezer and can't do nothing and their loved ones at home and losing weight and stressed out because you took their lives. My mother
Yeah.
was murdered. No sympathy, no sympathy, absolutely none. I don't have it. I don't even think. I don't know if God could put it in my heart to forgive people that killed. Because, like I said, I didn't. When my mother was killed at 12 years old, she was stabbed in the neck. So when Charlie Kirk got shot in his neck, I was traumatized for about 2 weeks because it brought that back. She got stabbed in the neck with a screwdriver. She was stabbed
Oh
in the
my
palms of
God.
her hand, left breast and right breast, stripped her naked and threw her on a pool table.
Oh
And
my
that's how
God.
they found her. So I mean, it's ridiculous. And I'm thinking to myself, if they ever catch this guy, it's a cold case. It's a cold case. But these judges are the ones. Why are you letting murderers out of jail. They're violent. Why would you let them out? That's stupid. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean nothing to them until it happens to one of theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're what's in the best interest to protect the public, and the judges are not doing it. They're failing us left and
It's
right.
true.
There has to be a way to hold them accountable.
I
Just as
agree.
well as if they can go after President Trump like that, and he's the president, the judges, DAs, and district attorneys, then they need to be held accountable like Fannie Willis with her mess, and Mr. Bragg over in New York. Same difference. They think they're untouchable. That's what their arrogance is showing.
It's true.
Period.
Yeah.
And
And
I
that's
think
the
they're
source
paid.
of frustration. Yeah.
I happen to think a lot of them are paid or owned by the cartels, because there's no reason that someone who lives in this country, who has family in this country, would be wanting criminals, murderers, rapists, child predators out on the street, especially after a conviction. So I can't fathom anything other than they are somehow controlled, paid for. I mean, it's awful.
Well, yeah, and we know Danielle and Theodis may be familiar with this, but I mean, it's a matter of record that George Soros
Yeah.
has funded district attorney races throughout the country.
Yeah.
You know, he has placed many of these prosecutors in their positions. I don't know if that applies to the Harris County DA or prosecutors. I haven't looked at it, but it certainly could. I know.
Well, yeah, you might want to research that one. I'm throwing that out. Once you Google that, it'll pop up.
Okay.
But
Well, there's your
yeah,
answer.
police officers can't even take a gift card from you. You know why? That's considered a bribe. So if police officers can't take something simple as a gift card, these DAs and these judges, because it's already been in headlines already that Mr. Soros and his son has been giving money to these folks, then that means that they're taking bribery.
Yeah.
And you brought that
Yeah.
up. How can you not bring that up? I mean, every place that they've got a Soros back DA or Soros back judge, Soros back governors, look at it. Look at
Yeah.
them right. What's his name? Pritzker, Pritzy, whatever his name is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know his name. That dude there's delusional. I don't know what he got going on. And then you got other governors around the state. I mean, this countries of ours that's dumbing down crime. Like, for God's sakes, Jesus! I hate to say this, but 22 people been found dead in the bio in the last 6 weeks in Houston. You telling me we don't have a serial killer? I'm thinking to
What?
myself, yeah, that's what I'm saying. We've been having that, but because FIFA's coming, oh, the mayor want to sit there and dumb the stupid stuff down. That don't make no sense. It's common sense that somebody is out there throwing people in the bio. Period. Students, I mean, you name it, they're just finding them floating. We've never
Oh
had this
my
problem.
gosh.
There was a guy in Austin that was doing the same thing. Well, guess what? Austin's kind of quiet right now. So I'm saying to myself, maybe this guy decided to migrate over to Houston, do this for a while, and then go back to Austin.
Oh my
They need to
gosh.
find it to dumb it down and say we don't have a serial killer. Well, I guess what? I guess hot dogs don't have sodium nitrate in it that sit there and cause you heartburn.
But certainly sounds like you have a problem there, and you're speaking to it for sure, just like you are right now. What is
Well, you got
Theo's 50 years or
50.
more? This local, this seat, the 18th district in Houston, has been controlled by Democrats. Do you know whether or not there's ever been a viable Republican challenge during that time in that district?
I don't believe so. I mean, it dang sure hadn't been since the new GOP leader took over. I can tell you that much. It's almost like they don't really care when they get in, because I ain't gonna lie to you. The Democrats, whether they're cheating, stuffing ballots, doing illegal stuff, you got to give it to them. At least they put in the work. While the GOP and here's hands. I mean, you can't be mad at them if they cheat and win. Just like they actually put in the work. But I said, dang, man, the Harris County GOP is no different from all those Democrats that sat on their hands while President Trump was sitting there trying to recognize two fallen officers' families, and they couldn't stand up.
That's
They
right.
couldn't stand up for Dr. Dungray's mother, Alexis, and her father, and Lincoln Riley family and the sisters when two illegal immigrants decided to come and take advantage of them and kill them. Then the man that couldn't cut it in the men's sports wanted to go play in women's sports and hit the volleyball so hard called brain damage. You got to think about this. You got to think about it.
Yeah.
They're doing the same thing, and it could have been changed. But
Yeah.
people have to understand that. Look, it's only going to be for 2 years. 2 years. You don't like it. You didn't like the fact the Republican got in there, and you didn't like what the outcome is. You only got 2 years. Vote different. You only got to do it for 2 years. That's like a little over 700 something days. You can survive that.
Yeah.
You can go But we got to be able to give somebody a chance. Give a regular guy a chance. Try something different.
That's
Try
right.
something.
Now, now, Theodis, you and DJ have friends in high places. Do you have any indication on whether President Trump is going to be doing anything to help secure our elections? Because I think that's a big part. That's a big part of my concern for any good candidates,
Sure.
especially in the primaries. I feel like it has proven to be very, very difficult to get good candidates through with our very fraudulent and corrupt election systems with these machines.
Oh yeah, I think he should put some executive orders in place or something, to where there's got to be more protections there and accountability for corrupted behavior and hold them accountable.
Yeah.
Nobody's being held accountable. I mean, they did it with him. Why are they still finding ballots in homeless encampments that the other day with like 20,000 ballots in there?
Wow.
And
That's
then another
insane.
guy, I think it's on a U-Haul truck or something, a moving truck, and he found ballots all stuffed up in there and U-Haul storage facilities. And it's
Yeah.
there. It wasn't. They swore up and down he was lying, but he was telling the truth. He was telling the truth the whole time.
Wow.
Yeah. Serious problem for sure. And President Trump has come out pretty clearly. We know what his position is on the election security. He's certainly opposed to these voting computers, for sure, and I think he's made that very clear. Has anybody? What is the has the Governor Abbott, has he weighed in on this at all on this race? You would think if he's a conservative that he would welcome having an ally like you in the U.S.
Well,
Congress.
well, well. The Honorable Governor Greg Abbott, we had the fortune of seeing him, and we talked a little bit when DeVarge was sworn in up there at the Capitol, and they made him part of the protection detail. And there was a lot of other stuff that he had surprise for him. And I was shocked, but um, I had asked him about the race, and I wanted to just know if he, I know that when Congress goes into session, that the governor can appoint somebody temporarily. Well, uh, the thing was that he knew that he said that Harris County has a lot of corruption going on there with elections, and so they're watching it and putting different things in place to make sure this doesn't happen this round.
Hmm.
So that's empty this whole
Yeah,
time. They wanted to make sure that they were ahead of the curve to make sure that they get a actual reputable election done. And it's amazing because the Honorable Mr. Governor Greg Abbott decided to do that and put that in place. Harris County's had the lowest absentee ballot ever in the history. In the last 20 years, this has been the lowest. They're usually running up there 40, 50,000. I don't even think they even got that. I know the first day or two, they only had two absentee ballots roll in. But this is the absolute lowest turnout for early voting. I mean, it's like 773,000 people in the district. I think
Wow.
only like, I think 20,000, 23,000 showed
wow,
up.
that's abysmal. That's horrible.
Oh, it's
Horrible
bad.
turnout.
Unless you know something. I said, well, I need to go on and get on the TV and get a commercial done so they'll know it's me running. And let's let's try to challenge everybody to come out and vote. Let's do something. I mean, you're sitting there not voting is not helping the situation. We need you to vote.
Yeah.
You have to want to give a concern. You
Mm-hmm.
can't just sit on your hands. Don't be like those folks that sat on their hands thinking about themselves. Get up there and use the most powerful thing that you have. The power has always been vested within the people. I don't care if they don't teach that in school, but the power is from the people. Nobody would be elected if it wasn't for the people. If it wasn't for your votes and elections, they wouldn't be in position. This
That's
country
right.
is of the people, for the people, by the people,
Yeah.
and I stand on it.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about your platform a little bit? Let the folks know what you're running on and kind of what your values are.
Well, one of the main things is public safety. That's number one. That's number one. We got to do something with public. You can't be cheap on public safety. The population density for the officers is down in Harris County and Houston is that of like Chicago. Chicago has over 10,000 officers. We'll use the city of Houston for example. They only have 5,238 officers, and it's 2.23 officers per thousand residents. I think I didn't. I think I failed math, but I swear that just don't look right to me. That just doesn't look right. And you wonder why they have the crime is so bad
Yeah.
and the criminals are so confident because they know that you're not coming. You're not getting no
Yeah.
help.
Yeah.
You got to fend for yourself. You got to. You got to put your dukes up and get ready to go. I
Yeah.
mean, it is what it is. And you shouldn't have to live in society like that. We've come too far to sit there and go backwards. But you
Yeah.
have a lot of people that's never worked for nothing, and you're giving them everything they got because they feel like they're entitled. It's like a mom buying a mom and dad buy their child a car and they destroy it. Now let them go get it themselves. Oh, they're gonna park it way out in the parking lot, armor all every 5 minutes, keep it clean. But
Mm-hmm.
mom and dad give them, they tear it up, and that's the problem. Everybody's giving everything, and they don't work for nothing.
Yep.
And here's another one: the ones that are out there complaining, doing rioting, and burning and tearing up stuff. Those folks ain't contributed nothing to the cause. They don't even vote. They don't even pay taxes. I guarantee. Let's do a poll on that. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Yep.
And then immigration is another one. A lot of people don't know that my mother's Korean. And my dad was in the military. He had high rank and stuff. And even my dad was on the Ed Sullivan Show in 1958. He's a world renowned country Western blues singer, harmonica player, and comedian.
Amazing.
And it took my mother 2 years for my dad to get her paperwork done and get her a citizenship. And my dad said that the questions that she was asked, she is more American than most of us because she knows the history that he said I didn't even know half the stuff she was asked.
Wow.
And she didn't skip the line. She didn't climb through no windows to come sit in your living room. And that's what's happening. People cutting lines, coming over here, acting a fool. How are they able to get, what is it, $4,500 in food, food stamp? No, yeah, $4,500 in food stamps. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
person can get $11. You got a senior citizen sitting at home, worked all their lives, pay taxes. They're supposed to live out their best golden years. Hell, they can't even get food stamps. They get about $22, maybe $44. But you can give an illegal immigrant more food stamps. They ain't put a quarter into it. Somebody lost their mind. I said, Democrats is the ones that need to blame themselves for the government shutdown. They're the ones that did it. Why?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you keep giving them Medicaid and all this stuff. Hell no. Well, I'll tell you what. Go to Saudi Arabia and see. No, better yet, let's go to North Korea and go jump that border and see what happens.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
have to
Great
protect
point.
home first. Like my dad say, make sure you keep your dukes up at all times. And
That's right.
CYO and cover your own, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what we do. We got to take care of us first. Us first. If your feet ain't right, you ain't right.
Yeah.
That's
You
Theodis,
know.
right. And
what does your daily routine look like during the campaign?
Well, first I got to try to go to sleep 'cause I got a lot on my mind. And then I get up, get my boys ready to do whatever that they got to do for the day. Then I get on the phone, start working, and I get out, check all my signs, going around paying the homeless folks that I got watching my signs now. So I gainfully employed some homeless folks, and they're happy. Trust me, they get paid well. And then I get out and people stop me. We talk and have conversations. They could be hardcore Democrats. By the time we're finished talking, it's like, you know what? I might consider voting for you. Let me have one of those signs. I won't put it in my yard because hell, my neighbors. I don't want no problems. But I'll be more than happy to take your sign. And
Mm,
that's what we do all the time. I go and we try to figure out how can we make this district and this Harris County better for everyone. Ease it up, ease their stress. We go to funerals. We're constantly trying to figure out how can we raise money and donate to nonprofits like we did with Jason Aldean. We raised $200,000 and gave it away. Now we're going to do
amazing.
something with Jelly Roll and give away. Hopefully, we can get up about $500,000, and we're going to give majority of that away to all the nonprofits that's actually doing things. Found a few churches since they're nonprofit and they're active in the community. We want to make sure that they get money enough to where they can continue feeding people and helping them out. Uh, and as long as they're not doing pastor for profit, because I totally don't agree with that.
Yeah. That's
So
awesome.
yeah,
And
that's what I think.
DJ, a question for you. Is some of what your dad talked about why you decided to go into law enforcement, or what was the inspiration behind you going into law enforcement?
Well, it all started when going through Hurricane Harvey. When me and my dad and my brothers was stuck in the George R. Brown, and we figured that we could skip the line because nobody would say nothing to us to go get some snacks, and these three officers stopped us and brought us to our dad, and he asked were we in trouble, and they said no, it's just crazy because they seen us running around collecting snacks like some squirrels, and they said if they could take all three of us out of the nightmare because they couldn't get it back to their own children and take us
Mm,
upstairs for pizza.
Oh, that's awesome. So they were just showing you some kindness and protecting people, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
That's awesome. Now,
That,
why
that
do you
yeah.
think your dad is the right man for this job?
I mean, some people is just mean and like to talk about people. I'm not gonna say no names though. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Well,
And
DJ, what do you say to the, you know, politics, can get pretty ugly when you're running for an office, especially for a big office like this. I'm sure you've seen some things that you probably don't like. What do you say to the haters out there?
if you ain't got nothing nice to say, you might as well just not even say anything.
That's right. It's good advice for everybody.
Absolutely. Theodis, I want to ask another question based on something you said earlier about these debates. How many debates have y'all had in this race, or how many
They've
debates
had,
have been held?
they've had over a dozen, and I didn't know, I wasn't aware of none of them.
So they're not. So they're blocking you out. They blocked you out of the debates.
Yes.
I
Have they
wonder
blocked
why.
any other candidates out?
They're only picking just five of them, and they're using four of the main Democrats that they've always been pushing. They run into what they call an A list. Oh yeah, I'm telling it. I'm telling it, Houston. I don't care. They got an A list. If you're not on the A list, you're not getting in the door. It's just not gonna happen. I'm not on the A list. I ain't on the B list, Z list, whatever. I'm on God's list, but I'm not on the A list.
So they're picking the winners and the losers out there, and apparently trying to keep the people from hearing all of the voices.
Exactly. There's 17 people running. Um, there's a couple of it's Mr. I think his name is Whitfield. He's running. There's Ollie Knotts, myself, and then there's another one in Carmen. But like I said, one of the Republicans is not a true Republican. I won't say any names. You just need to go look at the endorsements and then tell yourself. I'm just going. You got to do your own research.
Yeah.
I've got endorsements. I've got Dr. Ben Carson. I've got Danny Perez, the House Speaker of Florida. I've got Sheldon Daniels, and I've got a few more. And that's about it. You know, I wasn't really out there looking for endorsements because I feel like I'm endorsed by the people. But these are great folks that decided to do it, and they really believe in what we're doing. Because I mean, you see what we've done. It ain't like we just popped out of magically, deliciously popped out of a Jack in the Box and said, "Oh, here we are." We've been putting in work for the last 6 years, six
Yeah.
years solidly, losing sleep, selling everything I got to get him to where he needs to go, and try to help people. I mean, when we were just told last week that you don't realize how many people that you and your son has impacted around this
It's
world.
true.
And we were at a wounded blue event, and it's like a lot of the police officers suicides. The suicide awareness, they don't have that. Okay, and a lot of the brass fail them. And just by our stories coming through, even with parents that's dealing with kids with cancer, they're willing to. A lot of them are willing to throw their lives away or take their own lives. And I didn't realize that we were having that much of an impact to where we saved a lot of people's lives. And I said, well, you know what? I said, we've all been there and done that. I said, when I was in the military, I got out. It took me 16 years to see this man in front of you because I had a war that I was battling within myself because I couldn't understand what in the heck was going on. And I was not this dude right here. I was something else. And thank God I didn't drink or smoke and things of that nature. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you. I'd probably be behind some bars somewhere.
Hmm.
But I made it through. And with all good and great things, with if no one suffers through it, it's not going to be worth it. You don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
So
One hundred
yeah.
percent. That's so
Yeah.
so true.
It
Yeah.
is. We had a great conversation earlier this week with a gentleman who's doing some work with the Trump administration on behalf of veterans to get veterans the kind of care they need so this just horror can come to an end. And we were talking as well about the fact that they need that the Department of Defense under Secretary of War Hegseth needs to make sure that whenever warriors are leaving service, they're leaving in a healthy state, so that we're not putting people in a position where they're kind of listless and don't have the structure they need. They don't necessarily have the family they need. They don't have the health care that they need, which is a huge problem as well. So thank you for the work that you're doing, and I'm so thankful to hear that you were able to battle through that, and the Lord saw you through it. Um, how does this Texas 18 race seat fit into the redistricting debacle that we just saw? The big crazy thing that went down with the Texas legislature.
Well, the redistricting, the new map doesn't go in effect to December 1st. So this is still on the original map.
Okay.
And like I told folks, I said, when I look at this map, I said, there's no way in God's green earth it's gonna take a miracle from God for one person to represent 500 over 773,000 people, and you even get a fraction of the people's concerns come across their desk in emails and phone calls. You're just not going to be able to do it effectively.
Yeah.
So the hardest thing to do is to bring district up into 5 different sections, so the math will be mathing, and you will be able to handle everybody's concerns, and it takes common sense to figure that out. It doesn't take a rocket science to see that.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, good. I like to multitask, but that's even me. I ain't gonna lie to you. I won't get
Yeah.
no President Trump. It's like President Trump. He don't go to sleep
Exactly.
3 o'clock in the morning. I'm usually waking up at 3 in the morning every night. He's actually going to bed and wake up at 6, like at his
Yeah.
age. Oh, he's definitely passionate about what he wants to do, and he means it. Anybody else would be asleep. He'd be out there golfing every day like the other ones. Doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for God's
And
sake,
he needs allies, Theodis. He needs allies in
oh
the
yeah,
Congress.
he needs the ones that's going to be loyal. And
Yeah.
I'm loyal to the soil to make sure that everybody, American Texans and everyone else is going to be represented well in the right way. We're not going to be dealing with this mental delusion that's going around that, oh, I'm this and I'm that, and I feel. I don't care about how you feeling. I'm Generation X. You talking to the wrong one. I could care less about your feelings. And that's like a personal problem. You might really go see your pastor, preacher, counselor, or your mama, because I'm not it.
Amen.
Amen to
Amen.
that.
Yep.
Well, so your election, this election is, it's. I know it's early November. What's the election day?
It's November the 4th, so it's about 2.5 weeks out. Like I said again with the Harris County GOP deal, I just received the precinct chairs list about 4 days ago. I just got it on my email only after the ethics complaint was filed. That I couldn't believe it. I was like, so y'all waited till 2.5 weeks to give me the resources I need, and then I don't know how God made it happen. But last night, the night before, I went to a little event, and it seemed like it was for me or something. I couldn't figure out, but it was a meet and greet, and I was there, and there was a bunch of precinct chairs there, and I met them. Now the comments that I left, no exaggeration, was that you are just the candidate that we've been looking for. I was like, really? And they said, boy, they said the way you speak and engage with everyone in that room is like, you're talking to everyone. I said, no, because I have no reason to lie to no one. I'm just being honest with you. I've suffered. When I tell a person that I've done it, I've been there and experienced it,
Yeah.
trust and believe, I've got receipts.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time. I was on Section 8. I've got my food stamp card. I'm telling you, I'm a single father with 3 kids. I'm a veteran. Having to go to the VA and beg for my ratings, and I get tired of going because I don't want to feel like I have to beg for something that I need.
Yeah.
And I've been
It's a
told,
disgrace. It's an
It is.
absolute disgrace. And as Danielle said, we talked about it. But
yes,
thank you for your service to our country, Theodis.
yeah. Well, my service gonna continue until God calls me home, and
Yeah,
that's the way it is. I'm in the business of serving. That's what God has asked us to do, as we are given the breath of life every morning. Because some people's bed became their cooling board, and guess what? God bless you another day for you to be birthed today. Today is your birthday. Every day is your birthday, and every day is a gift. So make sure to
yeah.
take advantage of
That's
that.
that's the way to look at it. As you're talking here today, Theodis, I'm thinking this is the farthest thing from an institutional politician that I think I've ever spoken to. And I think that the citizens are yearning for voices like yours, not just
Yeah,
in Texas, but throughout the country. They're
Yeah.
they're begging for it, and yet you have the bureaucracy and the institutional establishment doing everything they can do to suffocate that voice, and it's truly sad.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I think well, I'm not. I know I'm not the typical congressional candidate. No, I don't have a law degree. Um, I don't have $1 million in my bank account. I'm just a regular person trying to make it. And guess what? I'm so comfortable with having less because I've made magic happen with less than with more, and I always run on the principle, what would God do with so little? So I go in the cabin, I have to show him. I said, look at this. He said, what is that? I said, that's a seed. He said, what kind of seed is it? I said, that's kind of mustard seed.
Mm,
That's what I run on. I don't need that much. I don't need $100,000 in my bank account. We're gonna make it stretch. You know when you get down to the last little bit of milk in the carton, and you want that full bowl of cereal, and you add some water to take the whole milk and make 1%. As
Yeah.
long as you can't see yourself through it, you know you still got milk.
that's right.
Exactly. Exactly.
you
So,
gotta stay optimistic around here. You can't. God didn't put you here to worry about nothing. Because if
That's
you
right.
if you're a true believer and a person that walk in faith, you'll never question anything God got going for you, whether it's good or bad. Those fair weather believers are the ones that have the hardest lives in the world. But look at us. We're going through the most and we're still smiling and we're still thinking about the next person. All the while I still deal with everything that's at nighttime when I have the longest nights of my life. But guess what? I love to see people smile because that helps us keep going.
yeah.
Amen. And whenever you talked about all the reasons you're not qualified, those are the very reasons you are qualified because you're running to be a representative of the people and you understand the people's plight because you are the people. You've been where everyone's been. You've suffered through hard times and harder times than probably most people and come out on top. And so I just thank you and I just say these are the exact reasons you're qualified.
Yeah,
No,
I
no
appreciate
doubt about it. I couldn't have said it any better, Danielle. That's really really powerful. I mean, everything about your experience, Theodis, in your life has qualified you for what you're doing right now.
it.
It's not like you're not pretending. You're not acting like you identify with the people and their struggles. You've lived it every day of your life, and I think that that's something that I don't think one of the big problems that we have, Theodis, politicians when they're running for office, and I know that this is a problem everywhere, not just here in Louisiana. It's a problem in Texas, I'm sure. These politicians run for office and they say all the right things when they're running for office, whatever they need to say to get elected, and then they go to office and they spend their entire careers doing something very different from what they ran on and then trying to hide it from the people, to keep the people from learning about what they're actually doing there. And that is a problem that I absolutely do not think anybody would have with you. I don't see you becoming a different person when you walk in the halls of Congress for the first day.
Well, I tell you, I won't be doing no dances down the hallway. I can tell you that now. I'm not gonna do it. Not me. I got Eddie and some other. Now they'll do it. We're gonna do a backwards dance on them. But
There you
we,
go.
we can't have leaders up there manufacturing lies either, because
Yeah.
you can't blame the citizens out in this great country of ours to act a fool when your leaders are acting the fool themselves. So
Yeah.
I'm a one person example. Jasmine Crockett, can't stand her. God, I can't
Hmm.
stand her. I promise you. I'm sure she's a good person somewhere, but she just ain't good with me. But that is a poor example of a leader.
Yeah, it
Dancing
is.
always cussing people out, talking to people like a dog. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And she comes from a house where her father's a pastor. How do you act like that? How do you act like that? And this is the perfect show to talk about that.
Yeah, it is.
No, sometimes those pastors' kids are the worst. A lot of them are.
It's
And she's
true.
she's driven by money. You know, she's not for the people, and that's just not what we need today. You
Yeah.
No.
know,
Are you close to are you close to, or have you interacted with some of the pastors in your district?
I've interacted with some of the pastors. I've been to some of the churches, but most of the churches are being influenced democratically, and they keep pushing the narrative through their church. And I have to sit there and tell them, I said, you're walking a very fine thin line about getting your 501c3 pulled because you're sitting over influencing your church members with this democratic mentality. I said, I'm coming in here and I should be able to come in with no problem being whatever I want to be, whatever party I want, without having a feeling that I have to sit in here and listen to this rhetoric that you are pushing.
Well, and I'll tell you, I think worse than their 501c3 status, they need to be worried about their status with the Lord because the kind of issues that they're pushing and the kind of values that the Democrats are pushing, like you said, men and women sports, illegal immigrants being let out of the jails all the time to rape and murder people in our communities. The Lord is not about that.
No, no. He's about accountability. Like you said, there's no bigger wrath than God, and God will come take care of it. You don't have to punish nobody. Let
That's
go
right.
and let God have it. He'll take care of it. Trust me, you are not gonna go through this life unscathed. You
Yeah.
rest assured you riding that skateboard, you're gonna hit that rock and skin your knees up. And I'm telling you, God's got ways to get people's attention. He'll
Yeah.
either he will disrupt your quality of life, and you're gonna be sitting around thinking about everything stupid and damn mean that you've done in your life, and you're gonna be like, man, I should have done better. It's too late now. God gave you opportunities, all them good days, and you took advantage of it and did something bad, and now you're suffering for it. And He's gonna make you
Yeah.
think about it till you go.
Yeah, that's true. And the Lord is not, Theodis, the Lord is very, very clear in the Scripture about what happens, and when His justice is visited upon uh, people who mean harm for those who are righteous and those who follow Him and want to be close to Him. And one of the Psalms of David that has always stuck with me is, you know, the Lord sees people trying to harm you. The Lord sees the evil that people are trying to do to you. And he makes it very clear in one of the Psalms of David that when his justice comes, you will prevail and you will dip your foot in the ashes of your enemies. And that is very, very powerful. And I'm hoping, I'm hoping and praying, and I believe that you're going to be vindicated for all the things that you're going through here. I think it's disgusting that a party of Thomas Jefferson, with the principles that our party traditionally has held, would not be 100% behind you in this race. And I was telling Danielle before the show, this is the reason why the citizens have so much frustration or so angry with establishment politics, because it's like they don't want to win. They don't really want to reform the system. They don't really want to return the government to the people.
Yeah.
And
Because there's nothing in it for them.
exactly, exactly. Well, Theodis, let me ask you this final question. When people go in and vote, what do you want people to be thinking about? One or two things when they're going in to make that vote on election day?
Well, one thing for sure that I always say all the time: you have one vote, one vote. This is your chance. This is your turning point. This is your turning point, and we can make things great and better for everyone. Just use it before you lose it. You only get one time at this historical election, and let's get it done. And don't just let it just go pass you by. Like my dad, like an old church song used to say. My dad would put his hand up. He'd say, hold that mule now, hold that mule." I'm trying to get on that train. Y'all hold that mule. And so you gotta get up there and do it. But if you want change, you got to be willing to put in the work. Even with God Himself, He don't want anybody that He don't want to take anyone in there. He didn't. Like Bible speaks it very clear. He's not taking everybody. He's not
Yeah.
going to take everybody. But you
Yeah.
have to be loyal. And so if you want change, you have to be loyal to the change and willing to put in that work to go do it. We need your voice. We need your vote. I don't care if you don't vote for me. I don't care if you sit there and vote for Kermit the Frog or Porky Pig. You got to vote for somebody. You got to. Don't just
Yeah.
throw it away.
Yeah.
We can't fix anything by complaining to each other. The only thing you're gonna cause me is stress, and then I'm gonna be put on high blood pressure pills. I don't have that problem right now, but I'm tired of talking about it. So it's enough. It's too much say and not enough do.
That's
So
right.
we
Well
got to
said.
get her done, get her
That's
done.
right.
A
God
lot of
challenges you
talking.
every day. God challenges you every day, every day. There's not one day that God not challenges you to do better, and be better, and do things that help somebody else be better. Because you only what did God require you? One. If you at least do one person, you've done many.
Yeah.
That's what
That's
I'm on.
that's
There you go.
absolutely
Well
right. And
said.
and just for our viewers, where can they learn more about you, your website, and your X handle, and how can
Oh
they
yeah,
support your
no.
race?
Oh yeah, but the exit to be Team Daniel for Texas. The website that you can go to is Team Daniel 4. It's spelled FOR Congress.us. So it's Team Daniel 4 Congress.us. You can check out the page. Donations would be nice. If I don't care if it's $1, we'll take it. It buys one sign. And if not, just at least just stop by the page and just look at what we got to say.
Awesome. I am going to put that. I'm just looking over here so I can put it in the comments.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And
And I'm very
you keep working hard, Theodis. You just keep
yes,
working
sir.
hard every day.
Yes, sir. And I'm very transparent, and I'm putting it out there. If the donors would like to see what we're spending the money on, oh, I'll show you all the receipts. Everything will be accounted for. Everything's accounted for. So I don't think those other candidates want to show where their money's going. It's probably going to some foreign company stock or something. I don't know. We don't have that problem.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
a red.
And I haven't taken any money from like the 8 packs or nothing. And even politicians, I haven't taken any money from other politicians, because in my mind, the way that I think is that if I take that big dollars from them, I think that they're going to come back and ask me for a favor. And the only favor that I have is the favor of God and the favor of the people. And the only favor that I need to do is for the people.
Amen.
Absolutely. Yes.
That's the
We,
direction we need things to go.
Yes.
100%.
yeah. If we
Yes.
had a majority like you in the U.S. Congress right now, Danielle, you think we'd have the problems that we have?
I guarantee you we would not.
I
Oh
don't think
yeah.
so. But
Yeah. I
we're
think they
praying
need.
for you.
I think they need a little bit of cowboy mentality up in there. I think we can fix the problem.
I think
We
so
need a few
too.
more Texas Cowboys in there for
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
sure.
I know. I know. Yes, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Most definitely.
Well, we appreciate you being with us today, Theodis. We're going to be praying for you, and DJ as well. You're very lucky to have someone, a great son like that, helping you out here. And he's gonna do a lot to help you get over the finish line.
Oh yeah, like I said, 2 weeks. Everybody else short notice. I said, boy, we out plenty of time. I said, you don't see me sweating icicles around here. If I'm not sweating icicles, what you worried about? I like pressure. I love working under pressure. I love being an underdog. I love it. I love it. Like I tell them, I'm Generation X. We're from the concrete lead based paint playgrounds, drinking nasty water hose. See, we learned to let the water run through the water hose because it tastes like nasty vinyl. You remember that? You couldn't come back in the
Absolutely,
house. You better stay outside. So we did what we had to do.
I
So
That's
remember it
right.
well. I
yeah.
remember it well. Well, God bless you, sir. Thank you so much for being here with us, and Godspeed going forward.
Yeah, Godspeed. God bless Texas. God bless America, and thank God for President Trump. And
Amen.
God bless you as well. Thank you.
Well, thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
And hopefully we'll have you back on in a couple weeks doing a victory lap.
Yes, ma'am.
Amen
Yes,
to
ma'am. We're
that.
gonna have a lot of brisket and sausage, and I'm gonna be
Oh
smoking for
gosh.
28 hours. So you come on through.
Oh yeah, we'll be coming on through if that's the menu.
Oh yeah, it is.
Take
Awesome.
care.
You take care.
Okay.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Bye
All
bye.
righty. Bye.
What a breath of fresh air, Chris.
Wow. Like I said, it just sums it up in one statement. If we had, a majority of members of Congress who were like Theodis Daniel, I think the problems we have would go away overnight. I
Yeah.
really do. And he does remind me in terms of his outsider status. He is a lot like President Trump.
Yeah.
He speaks very simply. He speaks the truth. He doesn't engage in political speak like you see so many politicians do and who want to have
Yeah.
their cake and eat it too. And, and I think he would be, I don't know the other candidates, but based upon what he's saying, it sounds like he's really the only real MAGA candidate in the race. And I don't understand why. Well, I do understand why, but I think it's sad that the
Yeah.
local party and the state party wouldn't be behind him. This is the reason why we're stuck in quicksand as a party and as a country, because
Exactly.
candidates like this are sabotaged in their effort to make real change. That's a huge, huge part of the problem.
Yeah, and General Flynn has said it from the very beginning that local action equals national impact, and he couldn't be more right. And I don't think we understood the depths of our own local problems until people started getting involved. People started waking up and saying, "Well, what can I do at home?" And then you put your foot in, you think, "Oh, I'm here to help." And guess what? You're in quicksand. You are in the hornet's nest. You are now disrupting the playground of the local elites or the local people who have made this their country club. We've seen it. We've seen it in Louisiana. We see it all the time in Louisiana. And it's absolutely disgusting. And it's what upsets me so much, Chris, is that people would be they would rather protect their own interests, protect their own little status, in their own little pond, then actually move the locality forward, move Baton Rouge forward, move Terrebonne Parish forward, move Harris County forward. No, they don't want that, because then it threatens their status. That's ridiculous. And
Yeah.
this is exactly when people are more concerned with themselves than they are with their neighbor. This is the breakdown of the fabric of our political our political well-being. You think about, I mean, Jesus himself said, love your neighbor as yourself. The politicians are not doing that. They're loving themselves only.
They're loving their lobbyists as themselves.
Well, that's true. That's true.
And
Well said.
their donors as themselves. Danielle, the politicians, many of them, have perfected the art of doing nothing while acting like they're doing something, acting like they want change while making sure that in reality nothing ever changes. And you've talked about the uniparty a lot. This is the core problem with Democrats and Republicans. They
Yeah.
are both swimming in the same cesspool, and they do not want the pool to ever be really cleaned out by people like Theodis Daniel.
That's
That's
right.
the problem, and it comes down to
the
corruption.
parties of these are the parties of the strongly worded letter, right? These are people who are not going to take action. They're just going to send a letter and say, well, I really, I saw who's Elizabeth Warren after the October 7th hostages were released, came out and on Twitter, and you know what she said? I have been calling for 2 years for the release of the October 7th hostages. Nobody cares what you have called for, Elizabeth Warren. What have you done? What have you done?
That's such a great point, and I'm reminded by your comments here of what Tucker Carlson said. I think last night. I can't remember who he had. No, it was Marjorie Taylor Greene who was on his show.
Okay.
One of the few members of Congress who I think really is standing up and asking questions like this. So our benefits, for people who really need them. And I know that there are people who abuse the system. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
But the benefits of people who are truly in need are on the verge of being cut off because of the government shutdown. Yet we can send $40 billion more to the Ukraine or to Israel or to foreign countries.
Yeah.
But we don't have enough money to make sure that our kids and our vulnerable moms are sustained. It blows my mind. And he also, but Carlson's comment was, look, during the Biden administration, I know Ted Cruz, he cross-examines very well in committee hearings. He says all the right things, but Ted Cruz should have been beating the drum every single day during the Biden administration, demanding that the governor of Texas take action to close the Texas border every
Yeah.
single day, and he really was not doing it. And I don't know why that is.
Yeah.
But he didn't. Tucker's point was that Cruz did not lend the weight of his office nearly to the degree that he should to make sure that border crisis was handled in Texas. And I
Yeah.
agree with him.
Yeah. You're a mouthpiece for the people. I mean, at a very bare minimum, you are a mouthpiece for the people. So he should have absolutely been doing it. And I think the same of Greg Abbott. Why didn't Greg Abbott think of securing the border or think of doing something until the 11th hour, whenever he felt it was pretty darn clear that Trump was going to be president? And all of a sudden, he's the hero. Come on, that's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Absolutely. The broader point that there are an awful lot of Republicans that keep a very, very close eye on whether Trump is popular, how Trump is doing, whether or not they can benefit politically by allying themselves with President Trump. And the moment it looks like he's vulnerable, or the moment he looks like he's going down a bit, or standing alone, they're nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
It is, they use him to the degree that they need to, but they're not real allies. And that's another distinction between them and Theodis Daniel. I don't
Right.
think that Theodis Daniel's loyalty to President Trump in the Congress, his public and vocal support of him, would be dependent upon President Trump's popularity level or
No.
whether or not he can be reelected. things like that. So yet another reason why the establishment doesn't want him. But Danielle, if he's successful in continuing to get his voice out to the people, uncensored by the political establishment, I think he has a shot to get into the runoff. And if he
Yeah.
gets in there, who knows what can happen?
Yeah. I mean, of course, I'm beating a dead horse here, but that horse is still alive, and it is the stupid voting machines. That's my biggest concern, because I think that if the people know who the candidates are truly, and if the elections are secure and fair, transparent, then we have a different country. You know, I don't. So that's got to be part of our prayer whenever we're praying for Theodis and the whole Daniel family, is that they actually have a fair election.
A huge part of it. That's
Yeah.
obviously the most fundamental issue of the day,
Yeah.
is the security of our elections, which is why we spend so much time talking about it here. But he is a great American, a
Yeah.
breath of fresh air. His entire life experience qualifies him for what he's doing now. And I'm just honored that we had a chance to have him and DJ on today.
Yeah, super special and a gift. And I just am so thankful for them. They have been such a light to the nation, and I think beyond America as well. They're being such an example of courage and resilience, and just fighting for the truth. And so God bless them. I'm so hopeful for the campaign. But regardless of what happens with his campaign, God's got great things in store for him. Absolutely. And he's using him in bigger ways than Congress already.
Absolutely. And he has certainly used DJ. How many people have been
Yeah,
inspired, Danielle, by DJ's courage? And
absolutely.
the one of the, I think, is going to be just a enduring legacy of the modern Democrat Party as it slowly dies, hopefully, is the moment during President Trump's State of the Union when he acknowledged DJ, a young
Yeah,
boy who has suffered with brain cancer. Can you imagine being at that age and struggling with a terminal illness,
right.
and yet having the courage to fight every day and go forward? There are many adults who could use a dose of that courage and
That's
that
right.
perseverance and that faith and resilience. And President Trump acknowledges him at the State of the Union. And none of the Democrats, with few exceptions, I don't think any of them stood up to honor this 12-year-old boy. Now, if you can't put partisan politics aside in a moment like that, what does that tell you about the rot and the filth within the modern Democrat Party now?
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be associated with that party.
Yeah. Well, and Theodis also mentioned the Lake and Riley Act. When that was announced, they couldn't be moved. And we're talking about someone who's brutally raped and murdered by an illegal criminal. Like there is no moral compass for some of these people. It's completely just disintegrated. And that's why people have to stand up, because if we are not standing up and taking action, someone else is, and they don't represent your interests.
Exactly. So non-action is action.
A thousand
That's what people
percent.
have to remember. When you're not doing anything, you're doing something.
Yeah.
It's called guilt by omission. You're still guilty of not doing anything. Okay. And it's really important that people understand that, that we have to do that. And the voice right here, Danielle, at the State of Freedom, is designed to give people hope and courage to act. Because
Yeah.
if everybody, we still outnumber the bad guys substantially in the
Yeah.
country and in the state of Louisiana. The good people, the good citizens are more in number than the evil people, but there are too many who are not participating in the process,
Yeah.
and that's the problem. So, with the voice of the State of Freedom here, we're going to continue to get the word of truth and liberty and justice out, and we need support from everybody who's listening to us. So, if you do one thing today, share, subscribe to the State of Freedom, donate to the State of Freedom, advertise on the State of Freedom, because we are uncompromising. We are unabashed and unashamed in defending the voice of the people and protecting the spirit of the Constitution. That's all we want to do here, and we're going to continue to do that.
Yeah. And Chris, before we go, a couple things. Would you just talk for a minute about the special session that the governor has called related to this redistricting issue that was just reheard at the Supreme Court last week?
Yeah, my understanding, Danielle, is that the purpose of this special session is to move up the date, I think, of the primary elections that are coming up in April right now. I think they're going to move them to May, so that the U.S. Supreme Court has more time to render a decision. And they're not supposed to be drawing any maps here. According to Paul Hurd, once the Supreme Court rules and hopefully vacates Cleo Field's district,
Yeah.
the case would then go to the 3-judge federal panel, and they would have what's called remedial jurisdiction to draw a map that is constitutional and then send it to the legislature for ratification. And as long as the U.S. Supreme Court rules by February, then that would be enough time for the legislature to do what it needs to do, and then for the Secretary of State to administratively get things in place for the fall elections.
Okay.
And so at this point, because of the legislature waited so long to do anything, at this point, it's Paul Hurd's position that they need to wait and let the U.S. Supreme Court rule. They hopefully rule by February, and then follow the directives of the 3-judge panel regarding the new map. And so we that's what they should be doing now. My understanding is that they're not going to be doing any redistricting in this session. Now that could change.
Yeah.
But my understanding is that all they're doing is moving up the time for the primary elections in 2026.
What is the and you may not know this, but what is the duration of the special session? Because I only saw two bills, right? 2 proposed bills by Senator Klein Peter on time change of different things.
Yeah, my understanding is that it's going to go from today. It starts today, and I think it ends first week of November. I know
Okay.
it's or maybe November 13th. I'm not sure. It's 2 or 3 weeks. It's a very short session, and you're
Well,
right.
that's a lot of time for 2
Well, that's
bills.
true. That's a lot. Well, I think there have been some more that have
Okay.
been pre-filed,
Okay.
but I haven't looked at all of them yet. But we're keeping a very close eye on this, and we are. I've put up on our social media, LeCag social media, Danielle, that you know, if there's any effort at all, one of the big concerns, if they're not going to be doing any redistricting, one of the concerns that we do have that may well become an issue during the session, either by way of a bill filed or an amendment slipped into a bill, is to eliminate the closed primary system
Yeah.
in Louisiana, because Bill Cassidy cannot win in the current closed primary system that was passed in 2023. Now, I know the unaffiliated voters still can vote in either a Democrat or a Republican primary, but it's still a much improved system. Democrats can't vote in Republican primaries. Republicans can't vote in Democrat primaries. And Bill Cassidy cannot win a Republican primary. Even if he squeaks out a victory in the first Republican primary and goes head to head against another Republican statewide in the second primary, he can't win. He's underwater, and he knows that. And last session, Danielle, he tried to sneak a bill into an election,
Yeah.
an amendment into an election bill. We caught on to it and made sure that that didn't happen. He tried to sneak an amendment in to eliminate the closed primary or the second primary so he could win in a plurality. If they try to do anything like that, not only are we going to raise the red alarm on it, but anybody who participates in that, I can assure you, is committing political suicide in the state of Louisiana.
Yeah.
They came out with a poll that yesterday, Jeff Landry is underwater in the state of Louisiana. He has a higher disapproval rating than he has approval rating in his own backyard, the place where he grew up. He's under 50%. He's at
Wow.
44, 45% in his own backyard. So
Wow.
where do you think Bill Cassidy is statewide? I
Yeah.
guarantee you he's not even close to that. Cassidy knows he can't win. He's desperate. So we need to be on the lookout for those types of shenanigans.
Yeah. And just a reminder that going into 2026, these legislators are now kind of in that final little quadrant of time that they get to before they start running. And so we are looking at legislators who are suddenly waking up to their political realities and the beds that they've been making over the last 2 years. This is the third, right? This is the third year of their 4. So I think this is the time where we would expect that they start making slightly more preservative
Exactly, because they're a
votes
little
than
bit,
they have been.
yeah, because their names are just a little bit closer to being on the reelection ballot.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
the one last scenario I wanted to mention, I talked to
yeah.
one of the representatives last night, Danielle, and this is a possible scenario for Cassidy, that he leaves the Republican Party and becomes unaffiliated,
Oh
which
my
would prevent
gosh.
him from having to participate in the Republican primary. If he's not a member of a party, there's no primary for him to participate in. So he would skip the Republican primary, and then he would go straight into a general election against the winner of the Republican primary and the winner of the Democratic primary. And he would be in a general election as an unaffiliated uh, person, an unaffiliated elected official. And in that scenario, as the law is written right now, he could win with a plurality. He would need to get more votes than either one of the other two. But even if he didn't get a majority, he could still go in by a plurality. So Mike Bayham has a bill to require, if that scenario occurs, and it's not just about Cassidy, it's about any election where that scenario would
Yeah.
exist. But I think it's the focus is Cassidy, that would require, if no, if in that scenario in a general election, if the Republican, the Democrat, and the unaffiliated, if none of them get a majority, there would have to be a runoff election where the top two would have to face off, and that would be in December, I believe. So,
Oh my
but
gosh. We're looking in the face of unending election cycles.
yeah, but that's the only hope at this point that Cassidy probably has. And when you get desperate, who knows? We'll see.
Who's running on the Democratic side?
That's a great question. I haven't
I
even really,
haven't I
I
haven't paid
haven't,
attention at all
yeah, I haven't
to
paid a
that.
lot of attention to it. But
Okay.
Cassidy's hope is that he can get in there,
Of
because
course.
everybody knows that, this is the whole reason why Cassidy didn't want closed primaries to begin with, is because he's not a conservative Republican, and
Yeah.
he wants to be able to draw in as many Democrat votes as he possibly can. And in the scenario that I just described, he would be able to do that, maybe split votes with the Democrat, get enough Republican votes to inch in with a plurality. And that probably is something that he's thinking about.
Well, he can think about it all he wants, but I tell you what, Chris, if our elections get fixed before the midterms, which I pray to God they will, he doesn't have a prayer regardless of how he runs.
Well, I think you're right. I think that he is so unpopular in the state right now. And to be honest with you, Danielle, I don't know that Jeff. The only thing really that Jeff Landry has not done to offend the state, the citizens in the state of Louisiana, that Cassidy has done, is vote to kick
Mm.
Donald Trump out of office.
Yeah.
That's about it. But he's done a lot
Yeah.
of other things. There's a long list of things he's done to offend. And but anyway, that's where we are with the special session, and we will fill people in moving along
Yeah.
as it goes on.
Yep, we absolutely will. And just an announcement before we go, Chris, we will be back here on Tuesday with another special guest that I'm super excited about, Pastor Cheon, who's running for governor of California. Just a reminder to folks, if the name rings a bell, but you're not sure why, he went toe to toe with Gavin Newsom during COVID. And when they shut his church down and he said, absolutely not, he brought that case. He was the lead plaintiff, I believe, that brought the case that went to the Supreme Court to keep the churches in California open, and he won. So anyway, he is now facing off in the race for governor of California. I know there's a couple good candidates, maybe at least one more good Republican candidate. I think that lady Katie Porter, the Democrat running, has already embarrassed herself out of a possibility, but we'll
Yeah.
see.
Can we have the ABG motto? ABG, anybody but Gavin?
Well, I think he's termed out. I don't think he's
Oh,
running.
okay. Well, thank
Yeah.
God for that.
Yeah.
Thank God for that. So I think anybody, it seems like, would be an improvement.
You would think, but I don't think that woman Katie would be an improvement on
You
Gavin.
don't?
Mm-mm. Oh no,
Yeah.
no, not
Well,
at all.
God bless you, Danielle. Keep moving, as in the words of the great William F. Buckley Jr., inveighing we shall continue to go.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris. I'll see you on Tuesday. God bless
Sound
you.
good.
Meet the world's first living, full-spectrum, certified organic CBDA hemp extract. Nessa's hemp oil was extracted from seed to bottle without chemicals, solvents, or heavy metals, and it surpasses world-class standards for purity. This pure and powerful CBDA has been proven to reduce aches and pains, ease mental tension, and promote better sleep. To get yours today, visit the Shop Our Partners page at freedomstate.us. If you're looking to invest in physical precious metals or convert your 401k to a precious metals backed IRA, please consider making your investment with our trusted partner, Metal Stacks. Their prices regularly beat the big sites and they have no credit card fees or minimums. Shipping is free for orders over $500. Just visit metalstacks.com/dwalker or get there from our website, freedomstate.us. If you're interested in the IRA conversion, drop me a message at danielle@freedomstate.us and I can get you connected with their white glove service. Thanks for joining us today on the State of Freedom. Be sure and check out the show notes for this episode. You can always go there and find the calls to action and resources mentioned in the show, and you can find out more information about our advertisers there as well. If you want to learn more about us or support our work, visit freedomstate.us. To get involved with Louisiana Citizen Advocacy Group, visit lacag.org. We'll see you next time. God bless.